Magnus Carlsen has returned. Welcome to chess, ladies and gentlemen. All right, man, I appreciate you guys very much for showing up. So, you guys know that we have the Blitz World Championship going on right now. So, a few days ago, Magnus Carlsen was sent home by FIDE because he was wearing jeans. So, you know what Magnus Carlsen did? He went home and chilled for a couple of days. And then FIDE changed his rules. And then Magnus showed back up. And he didn't even change his jeans. So if there's one person that will make FIDE rethink their position and change their rules, it is Magnus Carlsen. So I have the round 11 game for you. The rivalry of the century, Magnus Carlsen and Hans Niemann. Anyways, yes, man. So it is a roller coaster ride. So you want to hang on to your seats. If you are ready to go, man, let's take a look and see what we got for this game, son. All right, man, so we got the move e4, everything normal up to this point. We got e5, knight goes to f3, we got knight c6, knight c3, knight goes to f6, and we have what is known as the four knights of variation, the four knights game, and so you have a lot of different options in this position. You got some scotches going on, you even have some stuff like this, bishop b5 type situations, but Magnus Carlsen, in true Magnus Carlsen form, decides that he's going to go h3. He basically tells Hans Niemann, bro, before you even think about moving the d-pawn and going bishop to g4, I got you. You are not going that at all. So here's h3 in your face. We see d5 anyway. Pawn takes d5, knight takes d5, and then we do see bishop to b5. And about 500 years ago, Ruy Lopez de Segura decided that this is just what we're doing, bro. This is what we do around here. We pin down knights, and we're going to be taking this e5 pawn whether you like it or not. And you can't do anything about it, but black can. We got knight taking c3. We got pawn taking c3. Bishop goes to d6. So, you know, Hans Niemann decides that he can do something about it. And he will. One of the best things that you can absolutely do. We got castles by white, castles by black. Rook goes to e1. It's always beneficial to try to make sure that you have a nice little retreat square for your bishop without blocking your rook. We do see rook to e8, we got d4, and then we actually see bishop to d7. And this is not like a super crucial point, but you do kind of have a decision to make if you are black. Are you going to go pawn takes and kind of help white improve this structure right here, which is absolutely not the worst thing that you can do. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you basically just helped your opponent have an easier endgame to play, and that's not what you want to do. You don't want to do all that stuff. But like I said, we did see bishop to d7. Hans is basically just saying, man, I'm going to go ahead and hold the tension. I don't want to help you. We got rook going to b1. We got a6. And then we do see bishop to d3, which is the novelty of the game. But if you look, white and black both have their bishops slicing and dicing into the black position. And this is ideally where you want your bishops to be placed in the game of chess. We got pawn taking d4 now. A rook takes e8 with check. The queen takes e8. And in a classical game, pretty much anybody is going to play pawn takes d4. It's absolutely the best move in the position. But this is a blitz game. So Magnus Carlsen says, you know what? Let me go ahead and place a threat on you and see how you react. So we do see knight to g5. And this is simply just saying, hey, bro, you know what? I'm going to try to get your h7 pawn because that's why I put my bishop here to begin with. Now, we see Hans Niemann play the superhuman move h6, but what does the computer want to do? It basically wants you to just not care about bishop takes h7 and just go pawn takes c3. Bishop takes h7 check. But what human is going to do this? Exactly. Hans was like, bro, I'm not doing this, dog. Like, why would a human do this, bro? So like I said, I think pretty much everybody on the planet is going to just go h6. You're like, bro, I'm just going to knock your knight away. We do see the knight retreating down to e4. We got queen going down to e5. We don't really too much want to have an isolated pawn or a double pawn in the center of the board. So after knight takes d6, we got queen taking d6, making sure everything is solid. We got pawn taking d4, knight taking d4, and then we do see rook takes b7. And the computer really, really hates this move. It considers it to be a blunder. So if you want to try to figure out what Hans Niemann can do here to try to punish this blunder, go ahead and do so. Okay, so if you noticed that you can do a backward retreating move, which is not supernatural to kind of find when you're a human, and play the move knight to b5, you would be absolutely correct. You do have the ability to trap white's rook. You are basically going to end up, after everything being up the exchange, you know, one of the major things that white can try to do is to play a4, but you just have the in-between move bishop to c6, and pawn takes, and then bishop takes, and like I said, you are just going to emerge an exchange up, and white is going to have these double bishops. They're going to do something probably like this and just say, hey, can we go ahead and go home? But we do not see that. After rook takes b7, we just see the immediate bishop to c6, but then Magnus is just able to, you know, retreat. So he says, hey, man, I dipped in, and then I dipped out, and you didn't even notice I was even in there, man. So he got his pawn and just backed on out. We do see rook to e8. We got bishop to e3. Knight goes to b5 now, but it's just a little bit different. But we still kind of have some similar ideas going on. We got queen to g4, and Magnus is basically saying, bro, let me go bishop takes g6. Let me go ahead and go here, like move your queen somewhere, and then let's go home. I know you don't still want to be here, Hans. You want to go home, homie. So we got bishop back to d7. Before you get a chance to do any of that stuff, he's like, bishop d7, what are you going to do now? We got queen going to b4, offering a queen trade. But Hans is like, man, we don't do that here, bro. Like, we don't trade queens, dude. I'm trying to beat you, homie. You know, his spidey sense is tingling. So we do see the move a4 now. Knight goes back to d6, and then we do see queen to a5. Now, backing up, I think some of you guys might be sitting there looking like, wait a minute. Like, why would I go queen to a5? Like, isn't this pawn just hanging for free? It's not hanging for free, but you can take it if you want to. If you did go into that, you would be probably seeing rook sliding over to a8. Then after the bishop retreated somewhere, you would be looking at rook to a4. And, you know, black has managed to get your outside passer out. So now we have like a little bit more, you know, even pawn structure type situation. So, I mean, it wasn't going to come without a price, but white is definitely still a little bit better here. But we do see queen to a5. It is just adding some pressure onto this pawn and then also adding some pressure onto this pawn. So it is definitely a nice move in this position. We do see knight going to f5. Queen takes on c7, threatening bishop on d7. We do see bishop taking a4, and then we do see bishop saving itself now. Because the position is so open, you ideally would like to keep your bishops on the board and leave Hans Niemann with, you know, a little bit less, like a little bit more inferior, you know, minor pieces and stuff like that. We do see knight to h4. The computer really hates this move. It considers this a blunder also. Hard to see as a human, but we do see rook going up to b8, just offering a trade of the rooks. In this position, the computer really loved rook to b4. Not only are you hitting the undefended bishop over here, wanting the bishop to move somewhere, but you are also threatening rook to f4. And it's going to be really hard to protect this knight after that move because you cannot maintain this diagonal if you are black. But like I said, we did see rook to b8. So, you know, both players, I mean, Hans definitely has like 7 seconds. Magnus has about 60 seconds, so I mean, he's getting kind of low on time. You know, so it's gonna, you know, we're gonna be roller coastering coming up. We got queen going to e6. We got king sliding up to h2. Bishop goes to c6, and this was always an idea. The queen and the bishop are now disconnected. So sometimes you got queen going here and threatening some mate type situations. So that is a good idea. Queen goes back to g3. We got knight taking g2. Bishop goes down to d4. I mean, always threaten checkmate if you can, man. Like, I mean, because your opponent's going to have to, you know, respond to that threat. We do see the move g5. We got rook taking e8 with check. And this is something interesting about this specific position. When I went to go get the record of the game, it showed that this was the last move of the position. So I was trying to figure out, why is this the last move of the game right here? Like, I mean, that's like, did they agree on a draw in this position? Which, I mean, it's very drawn. But I just couldn't understand it, right? So I found the video. This game goes on for another 30 moves. And it is literally both of these players playing like hyper bullet. Hans Niemann has 5 seconds and Magnus Carlsen has 21 seconds. So they got the shakes. They're going all over the place. So if you want to hang around, I will show you the rest of the game. I got you. I had to put these moves in manually. So naturally, we have queen taking e8 right here. We got queen going up to d6. The knight goes back to h4. We got king up to g3. And we actually have queen to e1 trying to threaten some mates on the king right here. But we do not see that by Hans. We see queen going to e6. I feel like in this position, he's feeling the pressure and he just wants to trade queens and go home now. But Magnus Carlsen says, bro, I'm going to do what you did to me earlier and say we don't do that here. So we got queen going to d8 with check. The bishop slides back onto e8, and then we do see the move f4. And we are trying to, you know, shake apart the protection of this knight right here. But we do still have queen to e1 in this position. It is an idea, and it is actually check right here, and it's completely winning. But we do not see Hans see that. We do see the move f5. We got pawn taking g5, knight going back to g6. You know, like I said, there are problems with the pawn taking here because the queen is going to be checking, and you got bishops coming in. You're just not where you want to be. The bishops are really, really strong in this position here. So we saw knight to g6. We got queen up back to f6. I mean, this queen to g7 checkmate takes many, many different forms. It's craziness. So we got queen taken, we got pawn taken, we got bishop to d7. The bishop now takes on a6 after like 30 moves. We got f4 check, king goes down to f2. We got king to f7, and bishop to c4 is screaming to be played, but Magnus does not play it. We do see bishop going down to f1. And like I was telling you guys, basically both players don't have any time left. They only have mere seconds. So they are just trying to find the safest moves they can play. We got bishop to e6. And what should you do if you are white here? You have an outside pass pawn on the c file. And what did Philidor say? I believe it was Philidor that said pass pawns must be pushed. Either that or it was Nimzovich. I can't remember. I'm going to find that out, man. I'm going to figure it out. We do see the move c4, knight to h4. We do see the move c5. And this pawn is kind of getting close on me. So you got to be kind of careful. Make sure it doesn't get any further. We got knight to f5, hitting the bishop. The bishop goes up to e5. We got knight down to g3. We do see bishop to g3. Bishop to g2 is absolutely possible as well. You know, we are kind of trying to hold this pawn over here. But bishop to d3 works also. Black's issue is, I mean, this knight is not absolutely safe on this square because bishop takes f4 is in the air. So the knight goes back to h5. We got h4. So everything is solid up to this point. And Magnus Carlsen is just completely winning in this position. The biggest issue that Black needs to be paying attention to is this pawn right here. We got bishop to d5. We see king sliding over to e2, f3 check, which it would be really lovely if this pawn can just score a touchdown. But bishop is going to be able to just hold down this f1 square, so we're good to go. King to e3. We got knight takes f6. And you have a decision that you should make in this position. We have king to d4 by Magnus Carlsen. Magnus Carlsen at a glance is understanding that if he trades down into this endgame right here, that you actually, after everything kind of the smoke clears, this pawn can leave the board. The bishop can sacrifice itself for this pawn. Even if you give this pawn away as Black, you do not have the correct rook color. You don't have the correct color bishop to force the promotion of this pawn, so the position is a draw. So you really kind of need to keep options open if you want to win the game. So we saw, like I said, king to d4. We got bishop going up to c6. The bishop goes down to f4. Knight goes down to g4. We kind of see some shuffling going on here. Both players are just trying to make, you know, very safe moves. We got the bishop going back. We got f2. The bishop just settles back on f1, like I said before. The king comes down. We got bishop going up. We got h5. Bishop check. We got king over. And then we have some shuffling of the pieces back and forth. And it is in this position that the players agree to a draw and shake hands. And they both actually reset the board up and everything. So everything is good. And I mean, I guess they're not friends, you know, but at least they kind of are cordial with each other and stuff like that. But we did see some craziness on the board. Both players had absolute chances to win the game in its entirety. But that is Blitz for you. So I appreciate everybody very much for stopping by. Maraming salamat. King makaibigan po sa nanonood ng aking mga video. Tusen tak if you are coming from Norway. And thank you very much if you are coming from the United States. And I'm going to see you guys next time.